Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the 2023 Asia Pacific Amateur Championship here at Royal Melbourne. We are of course joined this afternoon by Team Australia, some of the representatives here. So we have Quinn Croker, Max Charles and Jack Buchanan. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. All of you are making your debut in the championship this year, so I guess can we just start off by sort of explain to us how exciting it was to qualify for this championship. We'll start with you, Quinton.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool to get the email that it obviously says where you're playing, when it is, and stuff like that. And then I think it's pretty cool when you're able to. For me, it was when I was able to tell my family. That was kind of, you had to tell your mum, tell your dad, and that's when you kind of feel the most happy about it, to be honest. And then you get here, and yeah, the week's been pretty good so far.
Great, Max.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great opportunity. I haven't really sort of let it sunk in till today, really. I see the setup and the course and everyone out here. So it's an exciting week and I'm really looking forward to what's to come.
Great, and Jack?
Yeah, I think obviously you can get in the Masters and the British Open for winning, and I think that just makes it more exciting.
If you have a question for the guys, if you just put up your hand, we'll get a microphone to you. Blakey, please.
I'd like all three of you, starting with Jack, to talk about your experience with the course today and maybe in the past, your past experience of playing this course as well.
Yeah, I played here a few times in the Sandbell Invitational and I think the Masters of the Amateurs a couple of years ago. So I've played here a bit, but not the composite course. Today it sort of played pretty normal to how Royal would normally play. Very windy out there today. Maybe like a hair softer than what it usually is. So it'll be interesting to see if it firms up this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, as Royal usually plays, the wind's up, the greens are slick. So yeah, I mean, it's always a treat to be out here. But yeah, as Jack said, the greens are a bit softer than usual, so it'll be interesting to see how they end up by the weekend.
Yeah, I played here the first time about a month ago. We had a little bit of a camp and it was a lot softer when we played there, so I thought it wasn't going to be too bad, and I got a rude shock when I rocked up here today. It's extremely hard conditions, and the wind was just, it definitely got the better of me today, so hopefully I can fix it up the next couple of days.
Next question from Joy on the right, please.
Guys, if I can ask you, to all three of you, how much of an advantage a golf course like Royal Melbourne and the sandbelt type of, playing on a sandbelt golf course will be for the Australian boys over here?
Yeah,
and considering that you had that camp as well.
Yeah, that camp was definitely an eye-opener. And then I think the playing in the sandbelt, as I said, I hadn't played here before, but I played around here. In Master of the Amateurs was just across the road at Victoria. And getting your eye into that kind of stuff, it definitely gives you an advantage that you hope to then utilise for the week.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an advantage. I grew up playing around here, so I'm a member at Kingston Heath right around the corner, which is pretty similar, sandbelt style as well. So yeah, I'd say going up north sometimes for us in Queensland, it's a bit different. We have to get used to the grain and it's different grass. So I think a lot of players will find that difficult this week, whereas we've already got that under our belt. And so it'll be good.
Yeah, I think for us it's definitely a huge advantage this week. I think especially if you played the course before, knowing where to miss it, there's definitely some spots this week where you can miss it and par's not even an option. So yeah, I think us knowing where to miss it is huge.
And if I can ask you another question, is there something on this golf course or in this style of golf course which you really don't do on other typical, parkland golf courses or other places, which you only do over here? Is there something that stands out?
Yeah, for me, so I come from Queensland, which is where Max was talking about the grain, and doesn't usually get as firm as it does here. So when I rocked up, and saw that the fescue on the front of the green is where you're going to have to land a lot of wedge shots downwind, I was very surprised. And my coach was telling me, look, hit it here. and I didn't trust him until about 18 holes in today, where we decided to hit one on the last and it worked out. So it'll be a bit of an adjustment for me, but yeah, it's definitely different.
Yeah, I think the biggest comparison, I mean, you see that around the greens is very tight. It's like usually we can use a lob wedge or a 56. I mean, you can use anywhere up to a 2-iron. It's like, or a putter even. So I think that's the biggest difference here. You just got to use your imagination, get creative around there, and yeah, that would probably be the most different in the courses.
I think like using slopes to your advantage this week, sort of like the way you fly iron shots in, and like you don't always have to land every shot on the green. So I think, yeah, like using slopes to your advantage and like letting the ball go where it needs to go.
Swami, please.
Hi guys. I know we all know that this is one of the greatest amateur events, which has been there for the last decade and a half. I'm sure you boys had an opportunity to go through this, which has some really legendary names. So when you know that you could be walking in the same path, so like, is there a sense of awe? Is there a sense of expectation? I mean, is that a burden or is that a privilege?
I think watching Harrison Crowe win last year, obviously one of my best mates, just shows you that he's not too far from home for me. So watching him win sort of like makes it like a bit more of a reality. Like someone I know close to has won it, so like makes me believe I could win it a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, seeing these names, obviously it's pretty breathtaking, and to see who's come through. But I mean, I feel like they would have been thinking the same stuff as us when they were our age. So I mean, someone's got to be there next, and hopefully it's one of us.
Yeah, it's definitely a privilege to see some of the names that are won, and to know that you're playing in the same event as that. And then, when you turn up and you just really want, obviously everyone here wants to win it, and you hope that you're the next one. But end of the day, you just come out, you try and play some golf, you enjoy it, and yeah, as Butch said, like one of the Aussies won it last year, so we obviously want to try and get 2 in a row. So that's kind of what we're going to try and do this week.
Question from Fox Sports, please.
Boys, thanks for taking the time to chat to us. When you know the prize that's on offer, we all understand how big it is. Are you thinking about that already at this stage? How hard is it to put it to the back of your mind and be on your game, making sure your processes are right?
Yeah, definitely thinking about it, but I don't really think I'm going to put it in the back of my head. I'm just going to kind of use it as motivation for the week. Like, it's going to be in my head most of the week that this is what I'm playing for, so I'm just going to kind of accept it and just use it as fuel to play better.
Yeah, it's definitely in the back of our minds. I think it'd be silly to say that it's not, but I mean, you can't get too far ahead of yourself. You just got to sort of focus on what's ahead and take each shot as it comes.
As Butch said, you kind of don't want to just put it behind and try and avoid it. In fact, I've probably been thinking about it for like 5 weeks, knowing that it's on the line, and that we're trying to really perform at this event. When you've been thinking about it for that long, it's pretty hard to just go, put it to the side and now focus. You just still got to hit the shots when you need to, and just know that it's there, and just deal with it as it comes.
Question from Mel, please.
Thanks, Liv. This is for Jack. Just when you mentioned Harrison Crowe being a friend and you said about being close to home, do you mean actually he lives near you, or you mean like standard-wise, like you don't feel like you're that far off?
He doesn't live close to me. He lives in Sydney, so I just meant like sort of, like I've played a lot of tournaments with Harrison, a few like international teams with Harrison, so it feels close to home in that way. Like I just know him very well, so, and I know that my game can match up to his when we're both on, so.
And I just wanted to ask you about the World Teams Championship. So it was sort of last week in Abu Dhabi, and I understand that you had a pretty good finish to that. So can you kind of talk us through how that played out?
Yeah, sort of didn't play my best the first 2 rounds, but it was 4 under my last 5 for us to get a medal, 2nd place. So yeah, I think that was a good finish last week. Gives me a bit of confidence going into this week, definitely.
Blakey.
I just wanted to ask you guys what your feel is for what would be a good score here on a stillish day.
Just for one day?
One day.
could have 8 under or square. I think if it's calm conditions, you could definitely go low around here.
Yeah, I mean, I was playing out here last week and a member asked me, what do you think would win it? And it's like, any other course you could probably put a number on it, but because it's Royal, I think it's very wind dependent. So, I mean, it could be anywhere from 20 under to even par, like, for the whole event. So, yeah, I think it just depends on what day we get.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a day that's, let's say, calm, you could see some very low scores of people hitting very good. But if you have a day like today, you can see some really high scores, and you walk off the course with even par, and you are just so happy to be out of there. So,
Just behind. Thank you.
Max, just to you, mate. Given you're in your hometown, differences it make having your own bed to sleep in and creature comforts, family around?
No, I'm actually not at home. Enjoying the luxury of Crown at the moment. I had the option to stay home, but it's a bit of a drive for me anyways. I'm about an hour and 10 away, so thought why not just enjoy the hotel for the week.
So can you tell us a bit more about your Victorian roots?
Yeah, so I grew up in northern suburbs. I started golf when I was 12, and yeah, I moved down to Kingston Heath about 6 years ago. But I actually just got back from college, so I've been in the States for 5 years and got back probably 3 or 4 months ago. Just graduated, so all done over there now.
So Boise State, what was Idaho like?
Amazing. I didn't know anything about it when I was transferring there, so I was a bit nervous before moving, but definitely holds a special place in my heart, and it's my favourite spot in the States that I've been. So.
And Quinn, you've been playing in a couple of pro comps recently. Do you feel that's prepared you well for what's to come over the weekend here?
Yeah, I think it definitely does. I was somewhat in contention in the last one that I played, and again a little bit in probably the last two. I was around the lead with 36, 18 holes to go. And yeah, obviously there's cameras out this week, and they had cameras out the last two events, so you get used to that a little bit. And then yeah, also the interviews and stuff like that, which is what this week's kind of about. You also got to deal with that off the course. But then yeah, on the course, coming in contention, jitters are up, so hopefully that's going to give me a little bit of good stead this week.
Do we have any final questions? No. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us, and we wish you the best of luck this week.
Thank you very much.